Actually, it's another week since these are coming out weekly. Can you imagine those people that do podcasts every single day?
Yeah, if you were interviewing other people.
That's true. And I guess it's just like...
Or if you were like an expert on a topic.
Yeah, and also like if you had a studio you just got to go to and talk at, and that's it.
And it paid me and was my full-time job.
Actually, that'd be pretty lit. Yeah. So, okay, today we decided, we kind of did like a last minute change of events here, but we decided we're going to ask each other questions.
We don't know the questions.
Yeah, there's been no preface. Like, was that the right word?
Sure.
Okay. Like, we haven't talked to each other about these questions whatsoever. In fact, we literally just came up with them.
Yep. So we're going to do 5 each. Go with the flow. See what happens.
Yeah. I wrote down 6 just in case.
I did too.
You did? Look at us.
Yeah. Just in case you had one of mine.
That's funny. Well, we could ask each other the reverse, too.
Yeah.
We're making up the rules as we go. Okay. You want to go first?
You fire away.
Okay. Do we want to start out heavy or more light?
Light.
Okay. Light. What's an irrational fear that you have?
An irrational fear that I have?
Yeah.
A bear attacked me in my dream last night, so now I might be afraid of bears, but
we don't ever go anywhere with bears, though.
You never know.
I guess that's why it'd be irrational.
They can smell the menstruation.
The what?
That's from Anchorman. Actually, fun fact though, real quick, Komodo dragons can actually smell blood, and so if you ever go to Indonesia, where they are, women are not advised to go while they're on their period. So
they'll just eat them, or what?
They'll like treat it as prey, so like they'll like hunt you down.
Wow.
Yeah. So
that's
use that information wisely. But an irrational fear I have.
Indonesia is not on a place I want to travel. I don't think.
I mean, all my fears feel rational enough. I know like flying on planes is safe, but when I get on planes, I like, especially in turbulence, I don't like visibly freak out, but in my head, I'm like, oh gosh, what's happening?
Really?
Oh yeah.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, every single time. Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah, when I was coming back on my most recent one from North Carolina, and we had to stop because there was so much turbulence and storm that like Dallas airport shut down, and I got rerouted to Houston. I definitely had a little panic attack going through that turbulence. So maybe that's it.
Wow.
Your turn.
You're asking me now? The same question?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, I didn't think about it.
I didn't either.
I honestly have always been afraid like a shark is going to eat one of my limbs. Like never that I'd be eaten alive, but one of my limbs. But the ocean are you on ocean TikTok?
I mean, I've seen some ocean stuff. I've been deep sea
The ocean,
fishing.
like, we need to chill out with the ocean. There's orcas, like, drowning boats.
You know?
There's, like, more shark attacks than we've ever seen in, like, a short amount of time. I mean, some of these are, like, user errors, like the human. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, it's, like, really... the whole submarine thing... I mean, that's not animal, but...
I would never go in a submarine going 2.5 miles down.
I think that's a user error. Yeah. But, like, I don't know. The ocean, I've never been freaked out by the ocean, but I feel like now I need to get off that side of TikTok because it is freaking me out. And we're about to go.
I'm not scared of the beach, but, like, deep sea ocean is terrible. Yeah. Have you ever been in the deep sea?
Yeah, but that guy in Egypt, he got eaten by the shark, like, right off.
He was a little bit out there. He wasn't like...
No! You saw footage from a different angle. Because there is footage from this one angle, and the dock is literally right there.
Yeah, but he was still further out than you would be at a beach.
There were people swimming in that were right... I'm going to show you the different footage, because I thought that too. Then I saw this different angle, and I was shook.
Okay, so ocean. Ocean and plains.
And do not look up that video unless you want to truly be disturbed, because... I mean, you see too much. And then that guy, well, you talking about bears, that guy... Maybe you had that because my dad was just talking about that attack that happened in Arizona. I think it was Arizona. Like, I was just sitting in his lawn chair, and a bear just came up to him and literally just started mauling him and dragged him off.
Yeah, and those things can go like 35 miles per hour. You're not getting away. So...
Anyways, yeah. But I've always just had a fear of a shark eating my limb because I have this... I think it's actually because I have this scar on my arm right here. And whenever, like, in college and stuff, I'd go to the bars, like, guys would be like, so what happened to your arm? And I'd be like, oh, a shark
Shark
attacked
attack.
me. And they'd be like, whoa, let me buy you a shot.
It was a coffee pot.
Yeah, a coffee pot fell on me and burned my skin alive. But yeah, so yeah, I think the sharks, the ocean, more so sharks, because there have been shark sighting like closer to the shoreline.
Yeah, that's for sure.
So, but I don't know. Is that considered irrational?
That's what I'm saying. Like, is the plane really irrational? I don't know, but I mean, I know it's safe, and I know that shark attacks don't happen that often, so maybe I would consider it. Let's go with it.
Okay.
Next
your
question.
Turn.
Can you share a funny or quirky habit that you've noticed about me over the years? I got plenty, so I'm curious what's going on.
I know that you have so many.
Mm-hmm.
So many. The one that comes to my mind, I don't know if you want me to share it.
I think I already know where you're going here.
You we've kind of done it together, but you initiated it.
Oh, yeah.
You started your own language.
I just have little words I use for excitement or no that I just come out of nowhere in my brain and I say.
Yeah, and they've stuck.
Yeah.
So when you're really, really excited and it's like a heck yes moment.
Yeah, it's like a.
What's the word?
Like
Give it
yachi,
to me.
I don't know.
Yachi!
Maybe it comes
It's
from
like Mario.
It's like a Mario thing. I don't know, or like nacho. I don't know.
Yeah, nacho
That's from,
is
Nacho
like
Libre.
negative.
It's just
Oh, we're not happy about that nacho.
I don't even know how those came about, but
I honestly don't know either. But you just started doing
I'm in a
them,
silly,
and
goofy mood.
I think those two words are the main ones that have stuck.
yeah. So fake words definitely my thing.
And it's always funny because we'll be having a serious conversation, and it'll be where one of those words apply, yachi or nacho.
Mm-hmm.
Just say it. It's oh yeah, okay.
Also, I know you have your phone in your hand, but didn't you want to record this on your phone?
Well,
Too late.
I need
Okay.
it. Yeah, I know. Too
Yeah,
late.
those are definitely things I do. The world now knows.
Do you have any for me?
Oh yeah, of course. She'll have to show you later on TikTok and record herself doing them. But she has various different dances and songs that you have memorized and will just whip out at times. Hannah Montana
Y'all,
song.
he is referring to the Hoedown Throwdown from Hannah Montana.
Well, that's just one. To be fair, there's one about you being a cat.
That's just a song.
Well, there's a little bit of
All
movement
my
in
friends
there.
from middle school and high school know that one.
No, what was the other one you just did?
Adelaide
too?
the cat.
Yeah, Adelaide the cat. The Hoedown Throwdown.
I don't even know where that came
And then
from.
what was the last one you just did?
That was just a song about Jesus is my rock and he
Okay, well,
rolls
she
my
sings
blues
these songs
away.
that she
Bop,
has.
shoo bop, shoo bop. Woo!
And they come with movements, so that is it. That's your quirk for sure.
Yeah. Stephen was feeling a little sad yesterday, and I said, "Let me sing you my song.
Yeah,
Jesus will help you, because Jesus is my rock, and he'll roll those blues away, baby."
certainly helped.
Okay, my turn.
Mm-hmm.
What's your favorite memory of me?
Oh man, memory of you.
Stephen definitely has selective short-term memory. Faux show.
Favorite memory?
But I guess this is long-term, not short-term. Yeah, favorite memory of me. Memories all alone in the moonlight.
This is tough.
You can't think of a memory that just sticks out to you.
Like a favorite one?
Yeah. One that's just oh yeah, that's when I know I loved her. Or that's when I
feel like
fell
it's just
deeper for her. That's when I knew she was
the
silly, goofy.
The goofy things you do are up there for sure, but it's not a concrete memory. It's just those goofy moods you get in when you're acting and you're doing little dances. I don't know if I have a specific one. They're just all, those are my favorite moments for sure. When you're in those moods, you really want a favorite
Yeah,
memory.
what's a favorite memory? You want me to tell you mine?
Sure.
I asked this question so I could tell.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
My favorite memory of Stephen is my parents have a lake house, and we go out there for the big summer holidays. I can't remember which holiday it was, but my oldest brother's wife, so my sister-in-law, her family was out there. Okay. And her dad, mind you, we'd been drinking all day, okay, out at the lake. And her dad, we were in the kitchen before dinner or something, and her dad was so have y'all said I love you to each other? And this was kind of when we were newer-ish dating. I can't even remember like exactly timeline wise, but he like said something like, have y'all said I love you to each other or something like that? And that's literally when Stephen said for the very first time he loved me. He literally like got all red and he's like, well, I do love her. And I was like, oh.
Yeah, I mean, it was a question.
That has stuck out to me so much. That's a good one.
That was a embarrassing, not embarrassing, it's just like pressure was on in that moment.
Is that how I thought that'd be the first time you tell me you love me? You know, from all the rom-coms I've watched and everything? Absolutely not. Do I love it? Yes.
I mean, what's the other answer to that? No, I just like her, or like, we're getting there. I don't know.
It's kind of early on. Yeah, I think it was like the end of summer when we first started dating at the beginning of summer. Like we started dating on Cinco de Mayo. That was our first date. Mm-hmm. And then I think this was like probably Labor Day weekend, I'd assume.
Date night, when we went to Eddie V's, and it was your birthday, and you're like a blue dress or top or something, and you're looking very beautiful that night. That was one of my favorite memories for sure. So it's just like we kept going to Eddie V's because of it. I was so enamored in that night. So.
And this is the difference between a male versus a female. Mine are words of affirmation. His are looks.
Well, yeah, you look especially beautiful. So.
I'm just kidding.
That's a good one. If you could travel back in time to give your younger self some relationship advice, what would you say?
Relationship advice?
Yeah, you can't give yourself like lottery numbers. Like.
No, I was thinking like for the trying to conceive journey.
No, relationship advice. Just in general.
Oh, man. Stop. I feel like I was always such a hopeless romantic. Like, every single guy I met, well, not every single guy, but a lot of the guys I'd meet, I'd immediately start thinking of a future of being like, do I see this guy as, like, the parent of my future children? Like, can I see myself walking down the aisle with this guy? Blah, blah, blah. Like, sometimes I wish I just wasn't so serious with it all, and it was more, like, lighthearted and fun with dating. But I guess I was like dating to get married at that point, so that may be a little bit different. But I think my biggest piece of advice would be stop getting so drunk.
Okay. That's good advice.
I would get wasty going out with these guys and probably be like a mess. I don't know.
Okay.
I feel like I kept it together, but I was always like, oh, I drank too much that night. But
yeah.
I don't know. This is hard. Like my best advice for myself. Have fun, let loose, but not too loose. And also be very confident in who you are. I let so many people, and I've done this for a long time. This is actually a recent shift I've done, is I have always been such a people pleaser where like I will mold myself, my body, my actions, and my words to what I think that other person wants to hear. You've actually really helped me with this. Because you are so outspoken and opinionated for yourself. It's like, I should be that way too. And so I feel like I kind of ruined a lot of relationships because I wasn't my true self, like who I was, because I was like almost like trimming or like trying to frame myself of who I thought they wanted me to be. When in reality, I feel like they would have liked me so much more with who I naturally am.
Yeah. That was going to be my answer. Is like, just you got to be your authentic self as much as possible. You can't let all the crazy out right away. Like if you have it, I mean, unless that's really you're just like that outgoing, goofy. But like that's the only way you're going to know, because like that's and it's hard. But you've got to kind of reveal that to like see if they vibe with it, and then like hopefully vice versa. So you can really just get a feel of like, okay, is this going to work for like who I really am, not just like what I'm putting on. So
yeah. That's a good one.
Your turn.
Okay. How have you stayed so dang hopeful and optimistic these last 3+ years? And like, how do you not cry I know some cycles are different, but I feel like at that beginning, that first year, every single time I got a negative, I would come out and cry to you that I got a negative, and I never saw you cry. The only time I saw you cry was when you had to pick up the phone and tell your friends and your parents we just had a miscarriage.
Yeah, I think...
I mean, I've seen him cry other times in life, but like when referring to our trying to conceive journey. You don't really cry, though. But anyways.
Yeah, I mean, for one, I definitely just keep things inside, and you know, I don't like to let it out all the time. And then two is just it really feels out of my control. Like with something I think I control, or like I feel maybe more at fault for, or I could have done better. Then in those scenarios, it just like feels more real. But for this one, I mean, I kind of just have to give up that, right? I mean, it's
But
just not
how
my
does that, I
wheelhouse.
mean, I just don't understand how you like have done it without like frustration and anger and sadness. Like I feel like it was almost just so natural to you. When for me, I feel like I literally went through the stages of grief, or I went through anger, I went through sadness, I went through resentment. Like I've gone through it all, and multiple times.
I don't think I've got there, right? I mean, if we accelerate 10 years and it's never happened and it's like, wow, we really just, there's no chance and they say no, then that might be a part where it's like, okay, I have to process and deal with that. But for now, I'm like, okay, we're 29, we're figuring stuff out and we're like doing things. So, like, that just keeps me hopeful. And I've had to adjust, like, okay, maybe, it won't be as many kids as I originally thought from that. But I mean, otherwise, I look forward and I know each time is a new chance, and I kind of hold on to that.
I just don't get how you're just so optimistic. Like, I mean, I'm pretty. I'd say I'm more of a like a realist, maybe more on the pessimistic. Well, it depends on for what. It really depends. But I feel like for you, like, and I have dark days. I feel like you just don't have those dark days or don't show them. Like, I know overall you're optimistic, and like I am too. Someone asked me yesterday, do you ever think you're going to actually get pregnant? And I said, absolutely, 100%. Like, overall, I am optimistic, but that doesn't mean I don't have like dark days and have moments of like despair of thinking, like, am I ever, I've had those all a lot. Like, am I ever actually going to be able to get pregnant? And then I kind of like have to stop my train of thought going down that way because it gets pretty dark. But
I just don't. I don't know. I don't have like an answer. I'm not doing like look in the mirror, tell yourself affirmation stuff. It's just like
I just
I
need you to teach me your ways. I don't get it.
just hopeful.
I know you are very hopeful and optimistic and like a naturally very happy person.
So you've basically shared your side of that question, I feel like.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that question doesn't really refer to me.
Yeah, true. Let's see. How do you think our individual strengths and weaknesses complement each other in our relationship?
Dang, you're putting out some
I mean,
deep thoughts.
we're at 3. We're at the halfway point.
Yeah, okay. Strengths and weaknesses. Definitely me being more organized and you being not.
Yes.
There's that. I'm trying to think of like strengths with adjectives that we both have. I mean, definitely like your optimism has helped us incredibly on this journey and through trying to conceive. Also the way that I feel like you're really good because I'll go down like the dark path of like thinking the worst, and you're good at like cutting that off for me of being like, well, we're not there yet. You can't do that, and easier said than done. But I feel like you're good at catching on to that. These are really hard to do on like the top
On the fly,
of,
yeah. Yep.
on the fly. What are other strengths and weaknesses we have?
Well, it's up to you. I can't answer the question.
Well, yeah,
for
no,
you.
let's have this be cumulative because now I need a backboard or sounding board.
Well, I mean, one for me in our relationship is you are better at like getting us to go do things and like get out there, and you kind of force that. Like I'm not a hermit, but I definitely have like the tendency to want to like stay in, and then like I realize like sometimes when I go out and do something like, oh, I had a lot of fun, or like, oh, this was good, like to force myself there. So I really like that aspect. And then I'd like to think on the flip side, it's like I can be better at, okay, we gotta draw it back in sometimes. I think the same way for like budget, like you don't make like, you help us to maybe spend on some stuff that we should, like experiences and things like that, where like I would have maybe saved, and vice versa. Like, you know, I on the flip side probably like cut some things off where it's like not necessarily. So like that balance and dynamic has been helpful.
Yeah, we're very different financially, and like our thoughts around finances, which has been kind of hard, but I feel like it's also been a good balance.
Yeah, I think I would just be not doing enough, and then you would be
doing it all
and living day by day.
Living on the fly, baby. Yeah. Living on a dream.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are good ones. Those are really good ones. I think also like my entrepreneurial spirit and your like need to be on like a schedule and like kind of told what to do. I think they work really well together, surprisingly, because there are times where like you'll push me to be more on schedule and, you know, time block and all of that. And there'll be times where I can push you to like be more
flexible.
Yeah, flexible and doing things.
And that is important because there's a time for each, right? Like some things I put over importance on. It's like, okay, relax, like it's okay. And then some things I would argue like you don't, and I push you like, no, let's do this right, or let's get there. And it works out most of the time.
Yeah, that was good. Okay. Were you scared at all for my laparoscopic surgeries? Like before they happened, when we got there, while I was under, because I was under much longer than we expected. Like when I got all the diagnoses, when there was a possibility that I had cancer, like were you scared during that? I feel like last July was probably one of the most stressful and overwhelming times of my life, because July 5th it's almost been a year. Oh my gosh. July 5th was my very first laparoscopic surgery. I had unexplained infertility before this for 2+ years. And then right when we got my results back, there was a possibility that I had uterine cancer, I think it was. And then it was like 2 weeks for us to hear back from those results, because that was really scary. But yeah, so I guess starting at the beginning of that timeline through.
I wasn't like, I think I was, for any surgery I take seriously, just because, you know, you go under and you just never know. So that was certainly wasn't fun to go through. And then definitely on the first one where it was like, I thought it was going to be like a 2-hour surgery, 2.5, maybe 3, whatever. Then you started pushing 4 hours, and I was like, you know, you let your mind wander, like, what's going on in there? Like, what's going wrong? Like, why is it taking so long? So that, I was a little bit scared, and I was like, I got to get back to the hospital and, like, just be there, and I wasn't sure. So only, like, I'd say, like, during the surgery, I was, as the time was elapsing, and, like, you still weren't out.
Meanwhile, I'm like,
yeah, I'm out. You were in La La Land. So during that, the cancer, not so much. I mean, it's a scary thing to hear, but I default back to like, I'm just going to wait until they tell me more, until I get more information, right? It's like, okay, you can throw that out, but like, we don't know yet. That was my mentality. So I always just try and like,
that's just that. So interesting, because I feel like you are such a fixer. Like you want to like fix things every time something's wrong. So like in those scenarios when you're like, when I feel like I try and jump to like preparing my brain for the worst case scenario. I do this with everything. I try and prepare my brain for worst case scenario, but then when it actually hits, I'm never actually prepared.
Well, and that's when I always reel you back in, because it's like you're just making up false realities that haven't happened yet. When you do that, like they're not like it's not a real scenario. So I'd be a fixer if they gave us like a definitive, this is like a thing. Okay, what do we do? But that's not where we were yet. So I don't let my mind wander too far past that. The second one was easier, I'd say, just because we'd gone through the first. It was shorter. We knew it was in there. The first one we didn't.
Yeah, that's true.
So really the first one was the only one that like...
Although the second one was kind of scary because it was on my colon, and they're like, yeah, if we mess this up, you'll never be able to carry a baby.
Yeah.
So I was like, excuse me?
Yeah.
Although I felt really good about that doctor we had.
Yeah.
Dr. Whitney. That was his name. He was the colon doctor out of Presby. He was good. He was really good. Okay. Yeah. Were you ever scared about like the diagnoses I've had? Like endometriosis, adenomyosis? I know people really freak out about adenomyosis. I think there's just not very much on it. Some people are told they're never going to be able to have kids with adenomyosis. I mean, same with endometriosis, but
I wait till the doctor tells me, and we go in, and Womack was just very clear, and she never led me to believe that we couldn't. So, no, I just wasn't.
yeah.
Like, I knew, and that felt fixable, and was like we were going into surgery and all that. So,
Yeah, my doctor, I feel like she's just never made a big deal out of adenomyosis.
yeah,
I don't know. I feel like she's just always been like, this is what it is. Control your inflammation, really focus on diet. And
it is harder, by the way, when it's you. Like, I'm saying this as a third party, and it's the same. It's like other people's problems. You're able to like see that perspective. But like, for instance, when like my knee, and I wasn't sure if it was another torn ACL or like just a small thing, like that freaked me out a good bit. And I think that's just because it's your body. So I want to put that caveat, like, and that's why it's good to have another person to like level you out.
True. Okay, your turn.
What are your hopes and dreams for our future together, both as individuals and as couples? This is just like, do you have any big goals or things that like you foresee that you're striving for? That type of stuff.
I mean, yeah, but I think like very much so work related. Are you talking more so like our life?
Take it any way you want.
I don't know. I mean, obviously, I cannot wait to raise children with you. Like, I cannot wait for that time in our life. I feel like it's going to be the best time yet. I know it's going to be trying, and I know it's going to be hard and all of that, but I almost feel like we're a little bit more prepared than those that aren't, because we really had to learn how to communicate with each other, go through hard trials together. Yeah. I know parenting is very different, and I want to make this very clear. I'm not trying to say that
we're not going to be perfect parents
better
right away.
Parents. Yeah.
Really?
Or we're going to be better. Like, no, I'm not saying those things. All I'm saying is I feel like these hardships, kind of like when our wedding was canceled, that was a hardship and like a mourning I had to go through. Like, it almost helped prepare me for the next trial we went through, and then the next one, and then like our miscarriage kind of helped prepare me going through this infertility journey. And not exactly, but you get the gist. What was the question? Oh, our
hopes, dreams, goals, individual, couple.
Yeah. Our next house. I'm really excited for our next house, but I really hope that we get to I don't know, actually. I always like have said I want to build a house so it can be literally my design, how I like it. But like those types of things really overwhelm me too. So I don't know.
You just wouldn't be. I'd be having to handle most of that. I feel like get your input.
I'll be like, I like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, kids is a big one. We've kind of toyed around with the idea of moving out. This is the first time y'all are hearing about this, but
that's where I was going to go.
I know. I feel like you're like wanting me to like say it. Okay, let's drop it. We've kind of toyed around with the idea of moving out of the city and more into the country and getting some land and kind of living more by the land. And
in a small way. I mean, like,
in a small way, not like 100% self-sufficient.
We're not going to become farmers, but like, have animals, have things that are fresh. Just there.
Have our future kids grow up in that space where, the joy is living outside and getting dirty, and instead of like so much surrounded by screens and the hustle and bustle of the city life.
I mean, I think we're still trying to stay within like 45 minutes, well, realistically an hour from outside, which isn't too far. What excites me about that, though, beyond, yes, that's like kind of the dream for me, is to have the land, some animals, kids, and like, live that lifestyle. But beyond that, I'm really excited for like just knowing like in your bones, like, okay, this is our family home. Like, this is where we can stay for a long time.
I think that's what I'm really looking forward to, having that security and house that like we're going to make all the memories in and be there for a long period of time. Like, that's really what I cannot wait, because like this house right now, amazing starter house. In fact, this is much bigger than a starter
above
house.
Average, yeah.
Like, it really is a great house. Obviously, it has a lot of flaws, design things I don't love, like simple things like that, but it's also a house that we're like, okay, we're going to stay here probably like 5 years, maybe less. Who knows? Like what happens? But like, you know, it's 5-year mark. And then we definitely plan to be out before then. So yeah, having that security of that next house. And I don't like, there's something about homes that I just love. And like when you walk into that home, that just feels so good.
Well, that's like the dopamine hit of shopping almost, which is just like so much fun.
Yeah,
so,
that's true.
But yeah, I would say a goal of mine is definitely to have a house I never sell and that the family grows up in and contains.
And can be passed down.
Well, yeah, but it's also just like that was the family home where we lived the entire time while the kids were there. Like that's just a big goal of mine. I mean, I didn't move around that much as a kid, but I mean, we had at least like 5 or 6 different spots we lived in. So
yeah.
And my family did build one custom that I love. Sadly, sold it. And so I want that. And
Stephen talks about that home all the time.
A lot.
It's like he makes sure his parents know that that's the worst mistake they've ever made. Is selling that house.
Ever. Mom and Dad, if you ever listen to this.
It was like when we were first dating, you told me about that house.
Oh, I drove you by.
He literally pulled it up and like showed me it. We did a drive-by.
We did a drive-by, yeah.
I know, I'm talking about when we lived in
Texas. My old basketball hoop was still out on the cul-de-sac, so
yeah.
I should have taken it back.
But yeah, we're kind of like toying with the idea of living out more in the country. But for someone who is very social and a extrovert, I feel like we will definitely need to figure out like where there's a community.
Yeah.
I also really want our kids to grow up with incredible neighbors. Like in an amazing neighborhood. That kind of worries me, that I don't know if you can really do that out there. I don't know. This is way more of like something that's harder for me than him to do this.
I'm not like I was raised in a city. I like city comforts. Like I see some of the cons. Like we did the drive. For me, it's just I recognize the cons, but the pros just outweigh them for me 110%.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah, I guess we'll see.
But that's one.
It's not like happening tomorrow.
No. Again, these are long-term goals.
We'll see what ends up happening.
And that's certainly a driving one for me. So.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, that I have so many like things in my head of like, well, we're not going to be like super close to family and things like that.
If we could get it in between here and like the lake, that would be so perfect.
I know, but no one's going to come out and watch our kids if we're trying to go to date night.
You'd have to neighbors.
I know. So like community is just so important.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anyways, it kind of gives me anxiety every time we talk about it.
Uh-oh.
I've like just been praying like, hey God, if you want this to happen, change my heart. Change my heart.
Slowly but surely. It's your turn.
Okay. If you could do a dinner party with 3 guests, who would they be? And they could be dead, alive, fictional. Actually, I don't know about fictional characters.
Yeah, that would be tough to do.
Dead or alive.
Dead or alive. Oh, man. This is cliche, but I feel like Jesus. I mean, come on.
I knew you were going to say that. I mean, I would too.
I mean, that's kind of the whole point of life, I feel like, is to get there anyways. But if I leave God outside of this...
you wouldn't have Jesus there. You get 3.
Yeah, but I'm going to see him later.
Okay.
I always wanted to meet Kobe Bryant, who's like, I named my dog after him.
We will not be naming a child after him.
No. But he'd be up there for sure. I'd probably go historical in terms of like, I don't know, like Aristotle or Socrates or like some philosopher from back then. I think that'd be really cool. Who else is on my list of people? St. Augustine would be on that list for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, his the Confessions and those books are my favorites. So, and maybe C.S. Lewis. That would be up there too. Okay,
you can only have 3. You're getting a little.
Well, those are the 4.
Okay, don't ask me because all I know is Shania Twain. I'd love Shania. You cannot roll your eyes. You cannot roll your eyes.
I'm sorry. I can't put
Shania Twain. I'd be very interested to pick Oprah Winfrey's brain. But like the Oprah Winfrey of like social media, I think that'd be really cool because I think that'd be like very helpful business wise. Mm-hmm. Wait, I said don't ask me.
Yeah, but you got one more.
I mean, Jesus.
No, we've can't go to him. Sorry.
Probably maybe like Saint Gianna.
Okay. Curveball.
Yeah, I've done her novena so many times, like to pray for, or maybe it would be Our Lady of the Leche. Isn't that Mary though? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Maybe
Say Mary. Yeah.
The Mother of God.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay, well you answered it. Good job.
Yeah.
I think we're on to your whatever last one you want to end on.
Last one, best one. Can I get a drum roll? What are you most excited for when you become a dad?
I'm a pretty, like, even as an uncle, like, active. I just love, like, playing games and stuff. It's cliche. I mean, I really do think, I always think of my son, unfortunately, there, but it could be my daughter, too. But, like, sports, activities, just doing, like, hobbies together, I think is something really important to me. It doesn't really even have to be sports. Just doing, like, sharing those activities and, like, teaching them something and just like seeing them like emulate you or just experience that stuff with you, I guess I should say. So yeah, I don't have like one in particular. I like really just want to like share those experiences. I play sports, but it really could be whatever. I don't care if it's going fishing, kayaking.
What if we have a son who only likes to play the trumpet? That's it. No other
I played
activity.
the trumpet up till third grade.
Okay.
I mean, I think I'd be open to like learning something with him. I think that would be really cool too.
True.
So those are mine. What about you?
Well, I cannot wait to see you be a dad. I've seen you be an uncle, and it melts my heart. And everyone's always like, you fall even more in love with your husband when they become a dad. And like I've seen that with you being an uncle. I'm like, oh my gosh, I think I'm gonna just die, pass out.
It's the same vice versa. It's always really cute, but that's not the question. But thank you.
Favorite thing about becoming a mom? Well, first off, I cannot wait to experience pregnancy. I know some people hate it, but I think like this is something I yearn for. That like if we cannot have babies, it's gonna make me really sad. I never got to experience this beautiful thing in life. Mm-hmm. Pregnancy and childbirth. I think those are just so like how wild is it that our bodies can do that? I mean, that's just like
mine
crazy.
Can't, but yeah.
Well, mine TBD. But I think also just going through each stage. Like I cannot wait to have a daughter and be able to do her hair. I cannot wait to have the love from a son. Like I feel like there's such a special bond between a son and their mom. I cannot wait to watch like the siblings grow up and have them, become like hopefully best of friends.
Right.
There's so many things. I can't wait to take my mini shopping.
Love that, Bill.
Matching sets. I can't wait to like match as a family. I know that's so cliche.
Yep.
I literally cannot wait. I can't. You know what I really can't wait for?
What?
Beach vacations. Beach vacations with our kids. Watching children at the beach is, as long as there's no sharks, is really one of the highlights of my childhood growing up, getting to go to the beach and have those experiences. And I just love the sun. I love the beach. It's like the place I feel the most peace in my entire life. I would live at the beach if I could. But Steven's like, yeah, right. But I cannot wait to do beach vacations with our kids and like I just can't wait to see life through our children's eyes. Yeah. A new perspective.
100%.
That'd be so exciting. Very. Oh, I can't wait.
All right.
One day. Okay, well, that's a rippity wrap.
Yeah, that's it. Episode over.
Okay. We'll see y'all next week. Okay, bye.